welcome back to my class. As you know that I am Halimanisa. I am available through WhatsApp and looking forward for the online classes meeting. Okay, in previous class we have discussed about the first chapter that is related to the civics second year. Okay, Indian Constitution historical context. We will discuss about the silent features of Indian Constitution. After the noble aims and objectives, the silent feature of the Indian Constitution is combination of rigidity and the flexibility. Here the meaning of rigidity is inability to be changed or adopt. Okay, and flexibility means quality of bending easily without breaking. The Indian Constitution can be amended with rigid and flexible methods. The Union Parliament can amend some parts of the Constitution by a simple majority, for example, the formation of the new states, changing the boundaries of states, rules regarding towards the citizenship, etc. can be amended with a simple majority. Some matters that related to fundamental rights and the directive principles can be amended through second-third majority method in Parliament. Some of the other matters required a special majority method of two-third majority in both the houses of the Parliament and acceptance of the at least 50% of state legislatures, which is very difficult. So, the Indian Constitution has a combination of rigid and the flexible methods to amend the Constitution. It can be changed or it can be break or bend the Constitution as per the situations for the welfare of individual and as well as the social society of India. The next silent features of the Indian Constitution is that unitary and the federal features. We will see. Under the unitary and the federal features of the Indian Constitution has described India as a union of states and provides for a federal structure with unitary spirit, and also it prescribed unitary system in emergencies and federal system on ordinary occasions. Provisions of unitary states such as single citizenship, single integrated judiciary, single election commission and role of India services personnel in the administration of states. Here in this picture, governors acting as the agent of union government, parliaments initiated in the constitutional amendment, etc. are found in our constitution. At the same time, the certain federal features like written, rigid and the supreme constitution, two levels of government, bicameralism, representation of states in the upper chamber of union legislature, etc. are profoundly seen in the constitution. Here, on the whole, the Indian Constitution contains more federal features than that one unitary government. The chairman of the drafting committee is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and other eminent leaders described Indian Constitution as a federal one titling towards the unitary one. K.C. Vaya remarked that India is a quasi-federation. These are the silent features of the Indian Constitution. After this, the unitary and the federal features, the next silent feature is parliamentary government. In parliamentary government, Indian Constitution introduced the British parliamentary system of government at central level and state level. However, the British type of hereditary monarchy was not adopted in India. Instead, the makers of the Constitution suggested for Irish type of elected president for India. They adopted all other features of British political system such as two types of executive heads, prime minister leadership, collective responsibility, parliament's control over the union executive, nominal status of the president, etc. They prescribe the same type of political system for the states also. After the parliamentary government, the next salient features of the Indian constitution is independent judiciary. The Constitution of India granted independent and the integrated judiciary for Indians. Hence, the Supreme Court and the High Court in India act independently without fear or favor to executive and legislative organs. Here, the judiciary enjoys the independence in the matter of appointed of judges, their tenure, salaries and allowances, and the service conditions, promotion, etc. as per the Constitution. The Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution, clearly states that the executive and the legislative authorities should refrain from interfering in the function of the judiciary. It conferred the power of judicial review on the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. These courts can examine the constitutionality of the acts and the orders and declare them as unconstitutional. If found against the Constitution, it is the due to the independent position of the Supreme Court and the High Court judges will decide the priority and the constitutional validity of the acts and the policies of the legislative and as well as the executive authorities in the country. After the independent judiciary, the next salient feature of the Indian Constitution is directive principles of state policy. Articles are mentioned and include in these directive principles of the state policy we will see. Our Constitution, that is Indian Constitution, has brought forward certain directive principles as the policy of the state in part 4 from Article 36 to 51. The makers of our Constitution derived these principles from Irish Constitution. We have discussed that all the Constitution, acts and the rules and regulations what has framed in a written document, that all has drawn from the other country's Constitution. Okay, and this the directive principles of the state policy principle in our Constitution has derived from the Irish Constitution. They point out that these principles would be transform India into welfare, Gandhian and liberal oriented state. These principles must be implemented by all the parties which hold authority without political considerations. These principles enable the state to provide a new social order based on economic, political and social justice. These principles include certain programs like provisions of employment opportunities for the people, fair distribution of wealth, equal pay for equal work, education and child care for those children below 14 years, etc. Similarly, the unemployment relief, old age pension, protection against ill health, provision of leisure for workers and conservation of wildlife, etc. are included in these principles. After that, the next salient features of the Indian Constitution is fundamental rights. And what are fundamental rights and how we are practicing it, we know very well and we are aware of these fundamental rights. Yes, now at this time every individual of the Indian has practicing their fundamental rights and as well as their fundamental duties. And what are the fundamental rights as a liberal democratic nature we will see in this feature of Indian Constitution. The liberal democratic nature of Indian Constitution is reflected in fundamental rights. They are incorporated under part 3rd from 12th article to 35 of the Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution. Indian citizens can utilize these rights subject to certain reasonable resistance. Nobody, including the government, is allowed to interfere in these rights. The higher judicial organization in the country help the citizens in safeguarding these rights. At first, there were 7 fundamental rights in the constitution, but at present there are only 6 fundamental rights, and they are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to religion, cultural and educational right, and right to constitutional remedies. That is, right to property is deleted from the list of the fundamental rights. That's why at present only 6 rights are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Fundamental duties. The Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution, is cooperated fundamental duties in Article 51 under Part 4 is based on the recommendations of Swansea Committee on Constitutional Reforms. At first, there were 10 fundamental duties interested through the Constitution of 42nd Amendment Act in 1976. Later on, one more duty was added through the Constitution 86th Amendment Act in 2002. Altogether, there are 11 fundamental duties in our Constitution, respecting the Constitution, national flag and the national anthem, and the safeguarding public property, and adjourning the violence, developing scientific temper, etc. As some of the fundamental duties. Fundamental duties were added in our Constitution for in calculating the responsible behavior among the citizens. The next silent feature of the Indian Constitution is single citizenship. In Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution, conferred single citizenship to all those persons who are born in India or who raised in India for a specific period. This facility provided for preserving the unity and the integrity of Indian nation. Similarly, this arrangement is made for avoiding the fiscarious tendencies in the country. The next silent feature of the Indian Constitution is universal adult franchise. The Indian Constitution granted universal adult franchise to all the adult Indian citizens. As a result, all the Indian citizens, without any discrimination based on caste, religion, language, region, gender, color, creed, property, etc., exceeding the age criteria, will enjoy this right without any restrictions. The makers of our Constitution felt such as a arrangement would facilitate and the realization of popular sovereignty, that all the Indians will elect their representatives for local, provisional and national level representative bodies through the proper utilization of these rights. That is, the voting age in India between 1950 to 1987 was fixed, that is 21. But later it was reduced to 18 years through the Constitution 61st Amendment Act in 88. Now the voting age is 18 years. After the universal adult franchise, the next silent feature of Indian Constitution is bicameralism. In bicameralism, that the Constitution of India introduced bicameralism at the national level. According, Indian Parliament comprises 2 houses, namely Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha, lower house, and Rajya Sabha, upper house. Whether in Lok Sabha represent the people and the Rajya Sabha denotes the interest of the states. The maker of Indian constitutions adopt the British and the American type of bicameralism in this regard, so that the Indian constitution provide a choice of the states to adopt bicameralism. Okay. After the bicameralism, the silent feature of the Indian Constitution is Panchayat Raj and Nagarpalika Act. In this act, an important feature of Indian Constitution is Gandhiji several times expressed the need of establishing and strengthening the local self-government bodies for improving the conditions of the people. Of course, all the things and all the struggles have done for the establishing a social society and for the strength of the people towards the country, towards the nation. Here, he further believed that the government have the obligations of providing the facilities for improving the efficiency of the local bodies. Here, the many efforts are made to strengthen the local self-government bodies in India in the post-independence period. As a result, the Constitution 73rd and the 74th Amendment Act were formulated as Panchayat Raj and Nagarpalika Act in the year 1992. After this act and after this silent feature of Indian Constitution, the next silent feature of the Constitution, what we are discussing, that is special provisions relating to the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. The Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution, hinted our certain specific directives for the development of scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes in India, so that it enabled the union and the state governments to revive the steps taken for the improvement of backward classes through the setting up of an independent commission. In this regard, the union government was authorized to act as coordinating between the various states and various governments. By this, we have completed that all the silent features of the Indian Constitution, that is our Constitution. By all these silent features of our Indian Constitution, that we have completed our chapter first from the civics. Now, what we have discussed in our previous classes, in this topic we will see that we have clearly explained and we have clearly understand that the movements that led to formation of Indian Constitution and the Constitution of India is the best and the noblest constitution in the world. The leaders of the Indian national movements have time and again demanded the British rulers for a constitution and the independence of India. The aim of Indian national movements in the provisions of independence and a native constitution of India. The leaders of Indian national movement made relentless efforts and struggle and realizing the above aims what we have discussed in previous classes and in this class, that the Indian Constitution is a result of hard work and deliberations carried out by the intellectuals in the Constituent Assembly, in which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar played a great role as the chairman of the drafting committee. And this topic has begun the study of causes and the origins and the birth of Indian national movement and the various services by the moderates, extremists and the guardian for achieving of the freedom, for self-rule and for the independence of India. That the various reforms introduced by the British government, was introduced by the British government, that the Government of India Acts that 1935 and the Indian Independence Act of 1947. Beside all these, this topic is related and included the various movements which was undertaken by the national leaders like Swadeshi, Home Rule, Non-Cooperation Movement, Civil Disobedience, Quit India Movement, etc. All these movements in one way for the other development of the patriotic feelings among the Indian masses and among the Indian common people, for the self-rule and for the independence of our country. At last, Through this topic, we have understand about the drafting committee, Constituent Assembly, which survive a prominent means for the adoption of the native constitution for Indians or for us. Similarly, the basic feature of Indian constitution have been discussed in a very detailed way, and we have observed that and we have noticed in this topic that how the Indian constitution has framed and structure for the welfare of social society. Okay. Through this topic, we serve that the roadmap of understanding the various provisions of Indian Constitution and especially the preamble. On the whole, this topic has enlightened us about the Indian Constitution, about the Indian administration, about the fundamental rights, about the fundamental duties, and about the citizenship, and about the patriotism, and about the nationalism, and about the freedom, and about the independence, and how we get the self-rule from the British rulers, and all these are we have get from this topic, that is Indian Constitution and historic context. So at the end of this topic, have a look on the schedules in Constitution and the Indian Constitution parts.